That's right. This better be the best feature of your life.
You could just press like a play button and just have it.
I'm gonna zoom in too.
Okay.
Boom!
I'm gonna do my talk this way.
Oh, now we're talking. I got all angles.
Okay, everybody, welcome to Robertson Island.
Yay!
Okay, first of all, we'll start off with a bit of geography. So, this direction is north. If you headed north for about 3 weeks, you would hit Russia. This way is northeast. If you head there, you'd hit Fiji, Samoa, all those beautiful islands. East would be Chile. South would be the rest of New Zealand and Antarctica. And west would be Australia. Yeah, notice the lack of infusion. Okay, so if you imagine the Bay of Islands as a big bowl. So you imagine, yeah, just like that. You've got on this side here, you have Cape Brett, which ends in Percy Island and the Hole in the Rock. Has everyone heard of the Hole in the Rock?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone been to it?
No.
Nobody?
I have.
Yeah, one person.
Yay!
The Hole in the Rock has some Maori significance. The Maori believe, it has huge significance actually, the Maori believe that when a warrior chief or an important person in the tribe dies, they believe that if they they'll put them in a waka, which is a long canoe made out of a single kauri tree, row them out to the hole in the rock and sail the dead body through the hole, and they believe that their spirit or their soul is released into the ancestral lands. So it's very important to Maori. So if you ever see a waka going out there, you might be interrupting a funeral, so just hang back for a bit. So you've got Cape Brett and Percy Island. It's called Cape Brett and Percy Island because it's named after Percy Brett, who was James Cook's second in command. Talk a little bit more about James Cook in a minute. So if you follow it round, keep on going round.
Yep, lost me.
Okay, if you look directly behind us, see where those white houses are? That there's, if you look to the rocks around there, that's Taupeka Point. That's the point we came around yesterday. And beyond those white houses on the other side, you have Russell. And then obviously beyond that is Paihia, where we left from yesterday. So, I'll talk about Russell now. Russell used to have a bad reputation. It was named the Hellhole Pacific by Charles Darwin, I believe. And it wasn't, yeah, it didn't have a very good reputation. It was mainly known for violence, prostitutes and alcohol. All the whalers, all the sailors coming back from sea, they used to go back and all they wanted was a good time. So all they wanted were women and alcohol. And if they couldn't find women or alcohol, they would find someone who did, and that's where the violence comes in. You can still see the musket holes where people were firing at each other in the town hall there. So if you go over there, it still doesn't have that bad reputation. It's called Romantic Russell now, so it's a little bit more nice. It's got a couple of really good fish and chip shops and a long beach, which you can you see? No, you can't see. It's kind of on the opposite side of Russell. Really nice beach. It also has a naturist beach if any of you fancy getting in the nude. So, okay, if you follow, keep on going around, you've got Cape Weewiki, which ends in the shark-shaped fin rock just there. Can everyone see it?
Yep.
Yep. But that's called Nine Pin, and it's called Nine Pin because it's exactly 9 nautical miles from Paihia. So when the sailors were coming in, they knew they were 9 miles from home and they could start celebrating. Okay. These islands were on here are the Triple Islands. You've got Wairatoa in the middle. That island there is Redhead. And the island to my left, to your right, is Urapukapuka. Now Urapukapuka is the only island in the Bay of Islands that you can camp on. All the other islands, you can only go on them during the day, and there's one private island over there, which I'll talk about in a minute. Yeah, so you can camp on there for a night. You can either get a ferry out there, or if you're feeling incredibly fit, get a kayak out, spend the night there with some sheep, and you can have a fire, but only by permit only. So if you want a fire on there, you've got to get a permit. Behind us, if you want to turn around, you have Keke. And Keke is the only private island in the bay. It's wholly owned by one person. There's a little story behind that. It used to be owned by 2 elderly ladies who had lots of cats and dogs. And they kind of got a bit bored of each other. They kind of ruined the island. They had loads of cats and dogs. They bring, not intentionally, but they bring rats and stoats. They killed all the native wildlife, and they kind of planted non-indigenous trees and kind of ruined it as an island. Now the guy that's brought it now, he brought it in the 1950s or 60s for a cool $15 million, which was a lot of money back then, and he bought it in 45 seconds over the phone. So it's a fastest land sail in New Zealand history. And he's doing a really good job now. He's bringing back all the native wildlife. He's taken down all the trees. He's left a couple of pine trees you can just see in the middle there, just for decoration. But he's doing a really good job. The DOC, the Department of Conservation, throw him a bit of money every year just to kind of help with the upkeep of the island. But if you bought it for $50 million, I don't think he really needs that money, but it's a nice little gesture anyway. Pardon?
Is he somebody famous?
We know he's an American, and that's it. He's very, very private. He's got a nice house just on the opposite side, which is kind of in the bushes. You can't really see it. He's doing a good job with the island though. Behind Keke you have Rotorua, which is the island we went past this morning, the Sky TV island. And then behind that you have Robertson Island, which is also, the Maori name for that is Rotorua here. It's called Robertson Island because a family of Robertsons used to live on the island. There's a little bit of a story behind that also. There was a family of Robertsons, so it was Mr. Robertson, Mrs. Robertson and their 2 children. Mr. Robertson wasn't a very nice man. He was hated by the community. Nobody really liked him. He didn't really like anyone, and he'd never let people come to fish around his bay. Whenever they did, he used to come out in his boat and scare them off. So one day, a young boy named Makatu, he went fishing there. Mr. Robertson came out to kind of tell him to go away, but Makatu wasn't having any of it. He had up to here with Mr. Robertson. So what he did, he jumped in Mr. Robertson's boat and fished Mr. Robertson off the side of the boat. And Mr. Robertson couldn't swim, so he drowned.
Oh.
So Makatu had killed Mr. Robertson. He sailed into the island where they lived, into the cove where they lived, sorry, and went to go and tell Mrs. Robertson, because Mr. Robertson wasn't very nice to Mrs. Robertson, and Makatu thought that she would be happy that he had killed her husband. Obviously she wasn't. She was kind of like, who's going to provide for me? Who's going to bring in the fish? So Makatu didn't know what to do, so he killed her.
Wow.
So Makatu has killed Mr. Robertson, Mrs. Robertson, and he's got 2 children to deal with.
Oh wow.
So he kind of panicked. There was 2 children one child he burnt down in the house, so he set the house on fire, and the other one escaped. Meanwhile in Russell, there's big flames, smoke coming up from the house. Everyone from Russell came over, started heading over to see what was going on, thought something had happened, an emergency. And meanwhile, Makatu chased the other Robertson son up to the top of the cliffs at the top of the island and pushed him off. So he's now killed the whole Robertson family, Mr. Robertson, Mrs. Robertson and their 2 children. Now the people came over from Russell, they kind of said, that's not on, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? So they took Makatu down to Auckland, and Makatu was the first person in New Zealand to be tried and executed.
Wow.
I'm not too sure on the dates there. Ellie, can you help? No. We need Tommy. Tommy's our date person. Yeah, so that's the tragic tale of the Robertsons, and that's why it's called Robertson Island. Also, Robertson Island's the first place that Captain James Cook first anchored in New Zealand. He was the first European to anchor there, or anchor in New Zealand. And there's a big cove and there's a small cove to the left of it, which is called Cook's Cove, and that's the first place. I think I've kind of covered everything.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to. You're gonna want to buy this video from me.
Extremely dry now. Also, no, behind you there we have.
Oh, there's more.
Rock. It's not called Turtle Rock, but we call it Turtle Rock. So if anyone asks,
it looks like a turtle.
It looks like a turtle, yes. Okay, guys. I think that's everything. If you have any questions, feel free to come and ask us, and we'll try and answer to the best of our ability.
Cheerio.
I think Ali, do you want to start heading down, or Ben? Ben's going to start heading down, and we'll start some snorkeling. You can hire wetsuits for $5, and the rest of the snorkeling gear is for free. If you want us to take photos, so it's $10 a photo, $20 for Ali, and $30 for Sarah. So I'm half price there, only $5.
Oh, that's a deal.
So, hey, no one likes
So if you want to start heading down, follow Ben down. We can stay up here. We'll take some photos.
All right, Luke.
Some snorkeling.
Take another bow.
Thank you, guys.
We just made just diving.